Dear friend, after 60, we start losing muscle at twice the rate we did in our younger years. And that's not just frustrating, it's dangerous. Weak legs lead to poor balance, more falls, and yes, hospital stays. In fact, falls are the #1 cause of injury for older adults in the US. But here's the good news. What's on your plate can quietly change everything. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 simple, plant-based foods. No fad diets, no pricey supplements. That can help you rebuild strength, improve balance, and keep walking tall. These aren't exotic or hard to find. They're affordable, easy to cook, and backed by real science. Even one of them, added just a couple times a week, could do more for your legs than any pill in your cabinet. So stick around. Your legs and your balance will thank you. And hey, drop a comment to let me know where you're watching from. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's easier than trying to bend down and tie your shoes after leg day. Now let's count down together from food number 6 all the way to number 1. Let's start strong, literally. The first food I want to talk about is something I call the muscle MVP. And no, it's not steak or protein shakes. It's quinoa. Yep, that tiny grain you've probably seen at the grocery store but maybe never tried. It's a total game changer, especially for anyone over 60 who wants to stay steady on their feet, keep their strength, and avoid those uh-oh moments when standing up feels like lifting a small car. Now here's the big reason quinoa matters. It's one of the few plant foods that's a complete protein. That means it gives your body all 9 essential amino acids it can't make on its own. Think of amino acids as the bricks your muscles need to stay strong. And as we get older, our bodies naturally start losing muscle, especially in our legs. It's called sarcopenia, and it's a big reason many older adults feel weaker or even lose their balance over time. But guess what? You can fight back with the right fuel, and quinoa is one of the best tools in your toolbox. 1 cup of cooked quinoa gives you about 8 grams of high-quality protein. But it doesn't stop there. You're also getting 281 milligrams of phosphorus, which helps your bones stay dense and fracture-resistant. 118 milligrams of magnesium, which helps with flexibility and muscle relaxation, and about 3 milligrams of iron for steady energy and oxygen flow to your muscles. It even has a bit of calcium, too. Not a ton, but every bit helps when you're thinking about bone strength. Add 5 grams of fiber to help your digestion and nutrient absorption, and you've got a seriously powerful little grain. What I really love is how easy it is to use. You just rinse it, or better yet, buy the pre-rinsed kind, cook it like rice, and then make it your own. You can go savory with olive oil and herbs, or sweet with a little cinnamon, almond milk, and berries. One of my go-to lunches is quinoa with roasted veggies, a bit of feta cheese, and some chickpeas tossed in. It's hearty, satisfying, and my legs feel the difference. Now, I will say, and one common mistake I see all the time, people skip rinsing or undercook it. That leads to bitterness or a crunchy texture, which can turn folks off. So just treat it like you would rice. 1 part quinoa to 2 parts water, simmer until fluffy, and you're good to go. A quick story for you. I had a client, Mike, 71 years old. He swapped out his usual white rice for quinoa a few times a week. Within a few weeks, he said his post-lunch crashes stopped, and walking uphill to his mailbox didn't leave his legs aching anymore. It's also got a low glycemic index, so it gives you steady energy without the crash, which is probably why Mike stopped feeling wiped out after lunch. Bottom line, quinoa might be small, but it pulls more than its weight. Your muscles, your bones, and your legs will all thank you for it, and so will your energy levels. Tiny grain, mighty gains. Stick around. The next food on this list is just as surprising. From a super grain to a super seed, this next one may be small, but it sure knows how to show up big. We're talking about chia seeds. And before you roll your eyes and think, aren't those just for health nuts and Instagram smoothies? Hear me out. These tiny seeds are a quiet powerhouse, especially for folks over 60 who want to move with more ease, less pain, and better balance. Just 2 tablespoons give you about 5 grams of protein, 177 milligrams of calcium, 2 milligrams of iron, and a solid dose of omega-3s. That's not bad for something that's about the size of a poppy seed. But what really makes chia impressive is how it supports multiple systems at once. The calcium helps keep your bones dense and less prone to breaks. The protein supports your muscles, and trust me, every bit counts when your legs feel like they're wearing bricks. The omega-3s reduce inflammation in your joints, which can ease stiffness when you're climbing stairs or just walking out to the mailbox. And then there's the fiber, over 10 grams per ounce, which helps stabilize blood sugar, improve digestion, and even boost energy by improving how your body absorbs nutrients. Here's a fun little contrast. Flax seeds and hemp seeds are good too, but only chia seeds swell up and hold 10 times their weight in water. That creates a slow digesting gel in your gut, which is fantastic for keeping you full longer and giving your body a slow, steady stream of fuel. And here's where a lot of people mess up. They jump in too fast. Chia's magic also comes with a warning label. If your digestion's a bit slower, and for many older adults it is, chia can back you up instead of helping you out if you don't ease in or drink enough water. So here's what I tell my clients. Start with just 1 tablespoon a day and always pair it with at least 1 full glass of water. Your gut will thank you. You don't need to get fancy either. Stir it into your oatmeal or yogurt, toss it in a smoothie, or make a simple chia pudding. Just soak the seeds in almond milk overnight and add cinnamon and fruit. I like mine with blueberries and Greek yogurt. It's sweet, filling, and has enough fiber to keep me powered through a morning of client calls. One client of mine, Marcia 69, started using chia every morning. She said not only did her joints feel better, but she also stopped craving those sugary snacks mid-morning. That's a win in my book. Bottom line, these seeds may be tiny, but their impact, huge. Just remember, slow and steady wins the digestion race, and the stair race too. Now let's talk about a pantry staple that deserves a standing ovation. It might not look flashy, but it's doing more for your legs than most people realize. I'm talking about lentils. Yep, those tiny little legumes you probably have sitting in your cupboard right now. Lentils are what I call quiet nutrition. They don't scream for attention, but they show up when it matters most. And for folks over 60, they check a whole lot of boxes: protein, iron, magnesium, and fiber, all in one affordable, shelf-stable, and easy-to-cook package. 1 cooked cup gives you about 18 grams of protein. That's more than a boiled egg and a glass of milk combined. And you need that kind of power, especially as we naturally lose muscle mass with age. That's not just a cosmetic issue. It's about keeping your legs strong enough to support you when you're standing, moving, or just walking out to the mailbox. Plus, lentils pack around 6.6 milligrams of iron per cup, and that's huge. Iron helps your blood deliver oxygen to your muscles. Without enough of it, you might feel weak, wobbly, or constantly tired, even if you're getting enough rest. I've had clients say, "I thought it was just old age." But once we boosted their iron intake, boom, they were walking stronger and climbing stairs without gripping the rail. Lentils also deliver about 71 milligrams of magnesium, a quiet hero that supports steady muscles, strong bones, and fewer nighttime cramps. Think of magnesium as the peacekeeper that keeps your muscles from cramping and your bones from getting brittle. It's especially helpful if you ever get those leg spasms in the evening. And here's where lentils quietly outperform. They give you about 15 grams of fiber per serving. That's fantastic for gut health and digestion, which affects everything from how well you absorb nutrients to how energized you feel throughout the day. Want to give them a try? Start with a simple lentil soup. Add carrots, turmeric, a little garlic, and finish with a squeeze of lemon, which also helps your body absorb more of that iron. It's warm, cozy, and feels like a hug in a bowl, while quietly strengthening your legs from the inside out. A quick tip: if you're new to legumes, start with small portions, maybe half a cup, and drink plenty of water. Your digestion might need a little time to adjust. Personally, I batch cook lentils every Sunday. I toss them into salads, stir them into soups, or eat them as a hearty side. They're inexpensive, satisfying, and I've seen them help countless older adults regain their strength and stability. So the next time someone asks what's helped you feel stronger lately, you can smile and say, "Believe it or not, lentils." And if you're still here with us, thank you. That already means you care about your health. If this video has helped you in any way so far, just drop a number 1 in the comments below. That's our little way of knowing you're still with us and that we're walking this journey together. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button and the little bell icon. That way, you won't miss the next simple habit or small tip that could help you feel stronger, steadier, and more free day by day. Lentils may be the quiet hero of your pantry, but they're not the only legume worth cheering for. If you're looking for something with just as much strength and even more snack potential, chickpeas step right up. Yep, those little beige beans hiding in cans on the bottom shelf, they've got a whole lot more going on than just hummus. 1 cup of cooked chickpeas gives you about 15 grams of plant-based protein. That alone makes them great for rebuilding muscle, especially after 60, when muscle loss tends to sneak up on us. But the real secret sauce? Potassium, nearly 500 milligrams in just 1 cup. Potassium helps your muscles contract and relax properly, and it also fights off those frustrating leg cramps that tend to show up at the worst times, like when you're just getting cozy in bed. And it's not just about muscles. Chickpeas help your heart too. They've been shown to lower LDL. That's the bad cholesterol that can clog arteries and reduce circulation. That matters because when your blood flows better, your muscles and joints get more oxygen and nutrients, and that helps everything from recovery to mobility. Here's where a lot of people miss out though. They underestimate how filling chickpeas are. Thanks to their high fiber and protein combo, they actually help manage appetite and keep your energy steady, so you're not reaching for a sugary snack an hour later. I always say if you're looking for a snack that feels like fuel, not fluff, chickpeas are your best friend. You can buy them canned, which is super convenient. Just look for the low-sodium version and give them a good rinse. Roast them with olive oil and paprika for a crunchy snack, or blend into hummus with garlic and lemon for a sandwich spread that actually does something for your health. One of my clients adds them to her tuna salad for extra texture and protein. She calls it her sneaky strength bowl. Now, a quick heads up. If you're new to legumes, your digestion might need a little time to adjust. Start small, maybe half a cup at a time, and drink plenty of water. You can also combine chickpeas with a bit of citrus like lemon juice, which helps with iron absorption and gives your dish a bright, fresh flavor. Personally, I keep a batch of roasted chickpeas in the fridge. They're great as a midday snack or even tossed on top of soup for crunch. Cheap, filling, and packed with leg-loving nutrients? That's a win in my book. So no, chickpeas aren't just for hummus anymore. They're leg day fuel in disguise, and your body will know the difference. Even if your taste buds just think, crunchy. So chickpeas prove you don't need meat to get strong. But let's take it one step further. There's another plant-based powerhouse that gets overlooked all the time, mostly because people think it's boring. Think tofu is just a bland block of health food nonsense? I used to think the same, until I learned what it actually does for your bones and muscles. Spoiler alert, it's one of the most underrated foods for strength after 60. Let's start with the basics. 4 ounces of tofu gives you around 10 grams of protein. That alone makes it a solid choice for muscle support, especially when your body starts losing muscle mass, which unfortunately, it does at an increasing rate after age 60. But the real kicker? Tofu is also packed with calcium, about 30% of your daily needs in that same 4-ounce serving. That's a big deal for keeping bones strong and preventing the slow, silent bone loss that can lead to fractures. And there's more. Tofu contains isoflavones, plant compounds shown to reduce inflammation and joint pain. One large study found that older adults, especially women, who regularly ate tofu lowered their fracture risk by up to 30%. For folks dealing with osteoarthritis or general stiffness in the knees, hips, or shoulders, this isn't just a bonus, it's a lifesaver. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tofu tastes like a sponge. Yes, if you cook it wrong. But here's the trick. Press it to remove the extra moisture, then marinate it in something flavorful, like soy sauce, garlic, or a splash of apple cider vinegar. You can pan fry it, bake it, stir fry it, or my favorite, air fry it until it's golden and crispy. Add it to veggie bowls, grain salads, or toss it into soup. Once you learn the technique, tofu becomes less of a chore and more of a weeknight go-to. A quick note when shopping. Look for calcium-set tofu on the label. Not all tofu is created equal. Some are made with other coagulants, which don't give you the bone-strengthening benefits. So if your joints creak more than your floors, calcium-set tofu is where it's at. One of my clients, Earl72, was skeptical. He said, "I'm not a tofu guy." But after just a few weeks of eating it a couple times a week, sautéed and tossed into a stir-fry, he admitted he was sleeping better and feeling more steady on his feet. Was it the tofu alone? Maybe not, but it sure didn't hurt. Tofu might be soft, but don't let that fool you. It's the quiet kind of strong, the kind that keeps you upright, steady, and feeling like yourself. Stick around. Our last food might be the one your joints have been waiting for. And finally, let's end with a snack that's fun to eat and surprisingly good for your legs. Edamame. You've probably seen these bright green soybeans served as a side at sushi restaurants. But don't let their simple appearance fool you. Edamame is one of the most powerful plant-based foods you can eat, especially if you're over 60 and want to keep moving with confidence. Just 1 cup of cooked edamame gives you about 17 grams of protein, which is huge when it comes to preserving muscle mass. And here's why that matters. After age 60, most people lose 3 to 8% of their muscle every decade. That might sound small, but over time, it adds up and makes everyday things like standing, walking, and even balancing much harder than they should be. Edamame also contains magnesium and calcium, 2 nutrients that are critical for bone strength and joint function. The magnesium helps reduce muscle cramps and support nerve function, while calcium helps keep your bones dense and resilient, a key defense against fractures and osteoporosis. Plus, the fiber in edamame supports digestion and helps with blood sugar stability, which means more energy and fewer post-meal crashes. What makes edamame even more unique is how well it fits into a busy life. You don't have to cook up a whole meal, just steam a bowl, sprinkle on a little sea salt, and you've got a protein-packed snack that's easy to chew, easy to digest, and totally satisfying. It's like nature's version of a protein bar, only without all the sugar and mystery ingredients. Now here's something I've seen with a lot of my older clients. They often think of soy as for vegetarians, or worry it's too processed. But edamame is different. It's the whole food version of soy, not an extract or isolate. And when it comes to plant-based strength and joint support, few foods are as effective. One of my clients, Janice, started eating edamame 3 times a week, mostly as an afternoon snack. A couple months in, she told me, "I feel less stiff when I wake up, and my legs don't get as tired walking the dog." That's exactly the kind of subtle but real progress that makes all the difference over time. Quick note, if you have a soy allergy or sensitivity, this one's not for you. But if you tolerate soy well, edamame is a total winner. You can also add it to grain bowls, stir it into rice, or mix it with corn and tomatoes for a colorful side dish. Edamame may be small, but your muscles won't be. And hey, popping them out of the pods is half the fun. Just don't challenge your grandkids to a speed peeling contest unless you're ready to lose. Let's face it, aging happens. But that doesn't mean giving up your strength, balance, or independence. The foods we explored today, they're not just healthy, they're your daily fuel for living fully. From quinoa and chia seeds to lentils, chickpeas, tofu, and edamame. Each one supports your legs, bones, and energy in a different, powerful way. They're quiet heroes that tell your muscles and bones, we're still in this together. You don't have to change everything at once. Start small, a spoonful of chia here, a cozy lentil soup there, maybe some crispy tofu in your stir-fry. It all adds up, and one day soon you'll notice. Climbing stairs feels easier. You're standing taller. You're walking with more confidence. Even just one of these foods, added a few times a week, could make a bigger difference than any pill in your cabinet. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these foods will you try first? Or maybe one's already part of your routine. Drop a comment. Your story might be the nudge someone else needs to take the first step. Let's turn this space into a community where aging means thriving, not just surviving. And hey, don't forget the classics. Hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss out on health tips made just for you. Thanks for being here. Stay strong, stay connected, and most of all, keep moving.